Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 10th regular City Council meeting. Dee Stiles Elliott, our City Clerk, would you please call roll?
Mayor Benjamin.
Present.
Councilmember Fajarin.
Here.
Councilmember McDonald.
Here.
Councilmember Parks.
Here.
Councilmember Schulmes.
Here.
Councilmember Vance.
Here.
Councilmember Wright. Councilmember Weller.
Present.
Councilmember Wright is not able to attend and requested to be excused. I'd entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Related to announcements, a few that are coming up. First of all, Pullman has been designated as a 2026 Well City recipient. AWC Employee Benefit Trust recently announced that Pullman earned the 2026 Well City distinction by making an outstanding commitment to employee health. Each 2026 Well City recipient receives a 2% premium discount on their AWC Employee Benefit Trust active medical premiums in 2026. Last year, the city saved over $104,000 due to this discount. This is the 22nd year in a row that Pullman has been a Well City. Thank you to all the city employees, leadership, and members of the City of Pullman Wellness Committee for contributing to this award and prioritizing healthy choices both inside and outside the workplace. Related to street sweeping, as we move into spring, we'll start seeing our street sweepers around the city. Please use legal off-street parking when available and bring garbage cans and other obstructions off the street so the street sweepers can have a clear path. When possible, we'll share street sweeping schedule on the City of Pullman's Facebook and Instagram. You can also view the street sweeping schedule at pullman-wa.gov/sweeping. On Saturday, March 21st, will be the Pullman City Council's goal-setting retreat for the 2026 through 2027 goals. It'll be here in Pullman City Hall from 10 to 2. Thank you for all the members of the Pullman community who shared their thoughts at Goal Open House, via open forum, and via public comment. A lot of comments, so we appreciate that. The goal-setting retreat is open to the public, although there's no opportunity for public comment. It will be recorded and will be released on the city's YouTube site the week after the retreat. Parks and Rec has a sports swap coming up. Come to the Parks and Rec Center on Friday, March 13th between 8 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the sports swap. The sports swap is a free event that lets members of the Pullman community swap gently used sports gear, come in and trade the gear, and get something new to you. The Neal Public Library, the hours are changing beginning next Monday, March 16th. Neal Public Library's hours, the new hours will be Monday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Library programs and services will continue as usual. And we want to recognize, first of all, with the fire department, the Seattle stair climb that happened. Thank you to all 10 of our Pullman firefighters who participated in the 69th floor Seattle Firefighter Stair Climb last week. The event raises funds for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society to help support blood cancer research and patients battling leukemia, lymphoma, and other blood cancers. Congratulations to Captain Stephen Patsrazali, who finished in second place overall out of 1,915 firefighters. He has achieved first place previously, so good job again. And for our police department, congratulations to Pullman Sergeant Greg Umbright, who was awarded the first annual Good Samaritan of the Year by Living Faith Fellowship on Sunday. Pullman's police evidence specialist Mary Kay Kava was also selected as a finalist. To see listings of other community events, visit the City of Pullman's tourism page at visit-pullman.com/events. The next item on the agenda is non-agenda related community comments. This agenda item is the first of two opportunities during this meeting for the public to bring comments to the attention of elected officials. Specifically, this item is reserved for public comments, concerns, or other information not related to previous public hearings or final action on the agenda. And those final action items are the confirmation appointments, consent agenda, and regular agenda items, and there'll be opportunity for public comment later related to those. This agenda item for comments will not exceed 30 minutes in total. Comments will be directed to the mayor or the city council as a body. No comments should be directed to an individual council members. And with that, I'd welcome anyone who would like to provide non-agenda item related public comments to come forward to the microphone, and each of you will have 2 minutes. So if anyone who would like to provide comments, go ahead and please come forward. Ayad. And if you could state your name just so it helps us when we're doing the minutes.
Very good.
Please.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, men and women. My name is Ayad Rahmani. I am a professor of architecture at the School of Design and Construction here at WSU. I am here to share with you an announcement, a public event announcement that has to do with work that has been generated by my students and myself in relation to city planning staff. It's going to take place in this chamber in a couple of weeks, March 26, between 5:30 and around 7:30. 4 students and myself have been working with city planning staff over the last few months in assembling a package of drawings and presentations in relation to 4 or 5 different scenarios that have traditionally been sort of welcomed and desired by people who are looking at a piece of architecture such as that. The event will start with introductions by myself and one city staff member, Ariel Medeiros, followed by presentations by the students and showcasing their work, followed still by hopefully conversations by the public and ourselves, looking at options, scenarios, and ways to help the community get ahead in this manner. A flyer has been produced to this effect, and I believe it's going to appear on the city's website, my school, and anywhere I can distribute it across town. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And hope people will show up. Thanks.
Would anyone else like to provide public comment at this time?
Hello, my name is Lucas Olson. I'm presenting for the Barracudas. It was just canceled for budget cuts, and yeah. Okay. I personally think that it is a great thing because we make lots of friends, everybody becomes strong swimmers, and from what I have done the math on, I have met with Megan Vining, and from my math and from last year, the city paid for roughly half of the thing, and I feel like there could be some solutions made to keep the Barracudas going because there were 66 kids that participated last year, and we have won the county meet 2 years in a row. It's been great, and some solutions are we could look for sponsors for the Barracudas. Could we cut that time frame of the practice because we do not need an hour and a half. We also don't need 5 days a week. We could do something such as Monday, Wednesday, Thursday because the meets are on Tuesday and Friday. Could we have parents volunteer except all they need they would just need extra swim safety training, and we would not have to pay extra money for lifeguards and to coach. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Please come forward and state your name.
Mayor and council members, thank you for your time. My name is Paul Warner. I'm a board member with Pullman Market on Main, a registered 501c3. I'm here to ask for your support of our LTAC request. Pullman already has proof the destination events work. The Lentil Festival shows what happens when we give people a clear reason to come here. Pullman Market on Main is built on that same principle with a different strategy, not one big weekend, a reliable, consistent rhythm that brings people back again and again. We're already seeing traction. Our opening market welcomed 450 visitors, and since then we've stayed consistent at around 250 visitors per market. We have vendors from as far away as Garfield and Spokane and visitors coming in from Lewiston, Moscow, and across the Palouse. The demand is real, and our goal is to widen that radius. Here's why LTAC matters. Tourism is behavior. A consistent weekend event creates a habit. When people can reliably say, let's go to Pullman this weekend, it becomes repeat visits. And repeat visits drive spending across more businesses, not just one location. We now have 100+ vendors on file, and as the weather warms, we plan to move outdoors and expand into a community-forward block party style experience, with live music, food trucks, and more space for farmers and makers. The outdoor format increases dwell time, and dwell time is the multiplier. The longer people stay, the more they eat downtown, shop retail, visit bars and restaurants, and actually experience Pullman. And Pullman has so much to spotlight: our natural resources, hiking and biking, local food and drink, retail, and that campus energy visitors love once they're here. The bigger goal is to convert day trippers into overnight stays and help Pullman become a destination, not a stopping point. LTAC funding helps us market beyond our current reach, strengthen the visitor experience, and build a consistent weekend draw the community and out-of-town visitors can count on. I'm asking you to vote yes on our request. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to provide community comment? Please come forward.
Hello, my name is Walter Shepard, and I've lived in Pullman for nearly 30 years. This is my hometown. I'm a PHS graduate, a WSU graduate. I'm a former downtown business owner. My wife and I actually own a house not 5 minutes from this building. I care about this community and the people in it, which is why I'm here to speak tonight. I was surprised to learn, as was many of the people in this community, that the budgetary cuts are going to include the Pullman Fire Department Reserve Program. The Pullman Fire Reserves are a critical part of this city's fire and EMS protection, and it's such a level that I don't feel has been appropriately communicated with the public. Reserve firefighters are professionally trained, certified, outfitted to operate both as firefighters and EMTs. They cover 24-hour shifts where they cover for career firefighters when those firefighters call in sick or use leave. They also fill in for callbacks at the station as needed. They operate ambulances, equipment, conduct patient care, search and rescue, extrication. They fight fire and more. They are, for all practical purposes, firefighters, except they are limited on hours, classified as part-time employees, and that means they are cheaper than it would be to employ those full-time firefighters for that leave. Without the reserve program, our city is going to have to rely on career firefighters pulling overtime to cover shifts or respond to callbacks. The decision to cut the reserve program will in fact cost this city far more than it otherwise would have, as we'll be paying for more career overtime than ever before. I'd also like to mention something about minimum staffing, as that term has been tossed around a lot online this week. Minimum staffing standards come from the National Fire Protection Agency, or NFPA, which is an international nonprofit that monitors safety standards for fire and other hazardous responses. The NFPA codes form the foundation of all departments within the United States, and while they can't always meet those standards, they do strive to make them. These codes include minimum staffing standards, which are detailed for specific types of calls. NFPA 1710 states that the minimum staffing standard for a structure fire is 15. Pullman Fire staffs 8, with a total of 4 at 2 stations. This is well below the minimum standard. They rely on reserves for those callbacks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to provide community comment? Would anyone else like to provide community comment? Seeing none, we'll move on to city council member comments, and I'll start with Councilmember Vance.
I don't have a comment this week.
Councilmember Fajarin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And thank you for those who submitted a comment today. Kind of speaks to what I want to say. People are angry about the budget cuts. When cuts hit the library, fire, pool, youth programs like the important Barracudas, it doesn't feel like a budget decision. It feels like the city is saying that these things don't matter. I hear that, and that frustration is legitimate. Here's what I want to be honest about. We have collected community comments before, and people have watched as those goals sit on a shelf sometimes when budgets got built the same way they always were. That gap between what the community said and what the budget reflected, I feel, is a driving issue as well. For this upcoming budget cycle, that changes. We are moving to a priority-based budget process, which means those community goals will be the framework of the budget that the budget is built on. Every program and dollar gets evaluated against what Pullman says its values. However, that doesn't fix the remaining gap in this year's budget, but it's a real and meaningful change in how we do things, and I'm committed to seeing it through. Thank you.
Councilmember Weller.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I appreciate what Councilmember Fajarin said. The priority-based budgeting is going to be a change from what we've done in the past. I also wanted to mention, yes, we've heard a lot from many people, everybody passionate about each of the departments that is facing cuts. I think as we move forward and we do look at the priorities of the community, it doesn't mean that any that are facing these cuts aren't priorities as well. we're made up of many people, many different groups who have varying interests. I wanted to say to, is it Lucas? Is that correct? Or is that Lucas? I really appreciate what you said. And it took a lot getting up there. I wouldn't be able to do that. It hits home for me when I saw it, especially with the Barracudas. I grew up here. I was on the swim club here for many, many, many years. One of my best friends, he actually became a rescue diver in the Navy, and he took swim club here. So your suggestions, I really like them quite a bit. So I think these are things that we will continue to look at, and everybody feels the pain. Everybody does up here. So I just want to thank you, and also about the fire department as well. So thank you so much, Lucas. Greatly appreciate it.
Councilmember McDonald?
Yeah, I want to echo what Eric and Nathan said. And, you know, I was at the chamber today and heard the like 5 or 6 new leases downtown. That was super exciting. The reality is we need to improve our revenue so that we don't have to do these cuts next year and the year after that. And we need to find ways to restore services and fund them. The thing that and I'm looking forward to the goal setting that's coming up later this month. The thing that I absolutely loved about what you said, Lucas, was that you came with creative solutions of ways to figure out how to fund this, recognizing that we have budget constraints. We've been working as a city very hard to try and find ways to cut costs, and I love the idea of creative solutions. And Walter, I love the point of making sure that what we're doing is saving money ultimately for the city. I do want to thank the city staff for, again, all the hard work that they've done in cutting costs, and thank the community for the feedback that they've provided, especially when they're including alternates and creative ways to help solve those problems. So that's it for me.
Councilmember Parks?
Thank you. Yeah, I echo what these two gentlemen said about, and to Lucas. It takes a lot of bravery to do what you did, and it actually is refreshing to have somebody express unhappiness with something, but then also come up with some thoughtful solutions that you've worked through. You did some homework, and you met with Megan Vining, and that's really remarkable, so thank you. And then I just echo what everyone else said about goal setting. I'm looking forward to it. And I did have one other kind of a side note, not having to do with any of this, but when the mayor was mentioning in the announcements about street sweeping, I just want to make everybody aware, if you're not, that Pullman Disposal is changing their routes, some of their routes. And so I just want to, and you'll get a yellow tag on your door if your route is going to change. You can also go to the website, pullmandisposal.com, to see if your street is affected. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Shumis?
All right, I got a bunch of things. A lot of this I wrote down so I wouldn't get it wrong. But real quick, I wanted to thank Walter, and I wanted to thank Lucas. And Lucas, you should be really proud of yourself. You did a really good job. Okay, I want to take a moment to recognize the work being done in our Economic Development Office. As we've been having difficult conversations about the city's finances, it becomes especially important that we focus on how Pullman can generate new economic activity and expand our revenue base. Economic development is not just about recruiting a business, it's about making sure our community is ready when opportunity comes along. Work to identify redevelopment sites and better understand barriers to activating vacant buildings is exactly the kind of groundwork that helps position Pullman for future investment. I appreciate Sean's focus on engaging our vacant and underutilized spaces and the effort to prepare Pullman for new investment and economic activity. Work that helps activate existing properties and attract investment will be an important part of strengthening the city's long-term financial stability. And then I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that this last weekend was International Women's Day. It's worth recognizing that the majority of businesses in downtown Pullman are owned by women. The Downtown Pullman Association is run by women, and much of the work happening right now to support and bring energy back to the downtown is being led by women. These are entrepreneurs, organizers, and community builders who are investing their time, creativity, and resources into making downtown a place our community can gather, shop, and connect. And this is not an exhaustive list, but here are some of the women that are working downtown. 53 Boutique, Aloft Studios, Bruised Books, Etsy Bravo, Flower Power, Gabagool, Greystone Gallery, J&H, Larissa's Apron, Lily Bees, Noshi's, Blues Country Candy, Poppies, The Recovery Center, Rockstar, Sanctuary, Subway, Sugar Babes, Terracotta, and of course Rico's. Thank you.
And don't forget, my wife also has one downtown too, so. Next item up is future agenda item requests. Are there any council members that have a future agenda item request? Okay. Moving on, the next item is community comments on final action items on the agenda. This agenda item is the second of two opportunities during this meeting for the public to bring comments to the attention of elected officials on any agenda item that the City Council will take final action at this meeting, excluding items where the public comment was previously accepted. This agenda item is for comments is not to exceed 30 minutes in total. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council as a body. No comments should be directed to an individual council member. Is there anyone who would like to provide community comments on any final action items? Seeing none, we'll move on to our first item, which is confirmation of appointments. I have two individuals that I'm recommending, one for the Historic Preservation Commission, the other one for the Arts Commission, and I'd entertain a motion for that appointment.
Move to adopt the appointments on the two commissions.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And for people who are aware, we do have an opening on the Parks and Rec and also Environmental Quality Commission have just opened up in the last 2 weeks. So if you have any recommendations that way, please let me know. Next up is presentations, and the first one is we have Matt Gillis here, which is you spent a lot of time with us in 2024, and it's good to have you back, and you have some exciting news, so if you can share.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, it's wonderful to be back here. There's some new faces here. I've missed this, and thank you to Sean for squeezing me in. I will be brief. Last summer, we wrapped up the downtown project, which was a very challenging project, but very successful project. And I am so very proud of it. I hope you are as well. But it was hard, and we all knew it was going to be hard. In the engineering world, like most industries, we are occasionally recognized for our work, both us and our clients. And through an organization called the American Council of Engineering Companies. It's kind of like our Academy Awards. We were invited to Bellevue for this big black tie event with hundreds of people, and your project was competing with big money projects from the West Side. And we were given a gold award, which was the top award. In fact, the only project that was awarded higher than us was the Seattle waterfront, the Big Dig stuff. And so I just want to make sure you understand that's a big deal for Pullman. And I'm so very thankful for the leadership that you all showed and that the staff showed, and I'm thankful that you allowed us to be part of it. And I'm just here to present you an award. And you can put it wherever you'd like, and I'll hand it to whomever you'd like me to.
Thank you, Matt, and for all the support that Welch Colmers has brought. We appreciate that. And And I do feel that Sean was the right one to receive it. He made it look good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you, Matt, for presenting and coming down. I know that's not an easy trip for you, but it turned out to be a great project for us and me as the Public Works Director during that project. As you know, my staff did the lion's work of that with Clayton and Scott and the rest of the team. And thanks you to the council and to the community for, like you said, going through a very challenging project that turned out to be really good. So thank you again.
Great. And next up, we have Bobby Ryder with the Downtown Pullman Association. And you have a presentation in your packet, and we should have it showing up now. So Bobby, welcome. Good to have you here. And you're not limited to just the 2 minutes.
I'm ready. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. I look forward to many more 2-minute moments with you all. But for tonight, we're going to talk about last year, where we've been, where we're going, and we're going to do some reflections. So I want to get through this pretty quickly. But I want to start with one of the things that was actually the mayor's idea, that we have a jigsaw puzzle competition. So working with Megan Vining from the Parks and Rec to do registration, we coordinated the first jigsaw puzzle competition in Pullman that we know of anyway. And then we had 23 teams and 72 participants. It was held in 3 different businesses: Paradise Creek Brewery, the Lumberyard, and Neal Public Library. And the winner finished in 27 minutes, a 500-piece puzzle, and everybody else was like somewhere in the range of 2 hours, somewhere in between there. So, I put this slide up here because that was in January. So then in February, we had Mardi Gras. It was an event that whatever, you can see all the little green dots on the slide there, on the map there, that those were businesses that participated, that we dropped 2,500 plus beads off to those businesses, and they made it the party that they wanted. These 2 individuals, Sophia is our promotions committee chair, and she's a lot of fun. You will see her in and out of businesses. She's a senior at WSU, graduating this year, and comes with a lot of bright ideas. And then Ben is my assistant, part-time at our office, and the 2 of them are really great. When you see them coming into your business, please greet them and hear what they have to say. One thing that was coordinated was the DPA partnered with the WSU Center for Civic Engagement on the Downtown Beautiful project as part of their Walkable Zero Emissions initiative. And this collaboration gave WSU students the opportunity to help several downtown businesses decorate their storefronts for the holiday season, and it really was quite impressive. I also want to mention that the Main Street program, the state Main Street program, awarded us the 2025 Excellence on Main Award, and this was the Places for People Award, which in my opinion is the most important award. And this was for the movable furniture project that was funded by T-Mobile. There's a picture of Gigi Skarska on the left and myself on the right receiving that award. And Gigi is our social media communications person. And we're going to talk a little bit about how she's doing. She has refreshed our DPA website and launched in 2025 with the help of Chelsea, who was our previous promotions committee person. So in 2025, our social media content generated nearly 1.4 million total views across Facebook and Instagram combined. This is pretty impressive. Our audience grew steadily in 2025, and you can see the statistics there. But the important point here is that this increased visibility helps more people discover downtown businesses and events. Really, through social media, that is a huge part of what will help us grow our businesses. The top 25 social media posts are listed below, and so when you're asked to give it a heart or a like, please do, and the little eyeballs are how many views were made. So we have Larissa's, we have Gabagool, did very well. All of these did. The Iron Walk did quite well. The next one is the Market on Main. Yes, that thing blew up and is doing fabulously. Also the Flower Power Bakery. And then we had, I'm trying to see what that is. I think that is, what is that one, Gigi? Huh? Trick or Treat. Oh, of course, it's Trick or Treat. It's one of our events. And then we have the table, community table, which was an event that was put on by the city. And then our lights downtown have received quite a few likes and forwards. The mural walking tour is a brochure that we have, and that's all over the place. People really love this brochure, but I put this up here because the mural that's of the train cars, hold on, of the train cars, there we go, up here, this one, we're going to restore those murals. They're on either side of the Heroes in Sports building, and those train cars have been there for many, many years. And so we are looking for mural artists that have experience in doing this kind of painting, and we are working with the property owner on this. So stay tuned over the summer. But the Main Street approach is really a full-body approach on how to do economic development and downtown restoration. We have 4 committees. We have the Economic Vitality Committee that supports our existing businesses and helps them grow, attract new businesses in our downtown. We have the Promotions Committee that puts on events, attracts visitors, and Design Committee leads placemaking projects, works with historic preservation and revitalization of projects. And then we have the Outreach Committee, which is also our organization committee that recruits volunteers, does fundraising, and deals with our operations of our organization as a Main Street community. So downtown is the heart of Pullman. And so why is this important to all of us, and why now? City Council and Pullman community have made downtown a priority. So the downtown Pullman became a fully designated Main Street community in 2025, and this is a big deal. This provides access to the state B&O tax incentives for businesses, which is an important fundraising effort. A sustainable fundraising model is critical to remaining a designated Main Street community, and our mission is to support downtown so that the entire Pullman community grows and the region grows. Your support allows DPA to focus on delivering on our mission and direct assistance to downtown businesses, and coordinating promotions, tracking data, and attracting new entrepreneurs. So you can watch your tax dollars support downtown and all of Pullman by taking advantage of the B&O tax credit program and more money in your pocket. You have to pay those taxes anyway. You might as well bring it back to town. So I'm going to go into that a little bit more. You can imagine if your tax dollars could support the vibrant heart of downtown Pullman instead of going to Olympia through this program. So I'm going to jump down for time down to this example. In its most simplest terms, if you, as a business, make a contribution of $1,000 through the Department of Revenue and designate the Downtown Pullman Association, and you do this in 2026, in 2027, you will receive $750 tax credit on your B&O taxes. That's $750 discount. So for $250 out-of-pocket donation, which is also eligible for federal income tax, could be for deduction or as a charitable nonprofit, which is what we are, you have given $1,000 to support downtown revitalization. So this is a pretty great thing. You get money back, and all of it comes back to Pullman. So why act now? This year, businesses can contribute up to $333,000, which means more tax credits for you, and And however, this larger cap isn't guaranteed every year, so it's crucial to take advantage of this as soon as possible and no later than by October 31st. But I want to look at by the numbers. The Downtown Pullman Association has existed for 5 years. The amount of money raised through grants and donations equals over $900,000 since 2021. These grants are from the City of Pullman, from WSU, from the Main Street Program, Whitman County, the Port of Whitman, USDA, civic groups, private individual donors, and the B&O Tax Credit Program. The number of volunteer hours is 675 to 700, probably plus hours annually. DPA, however, is always in need of more volunteers, so consider joining us and participating in our committees. We also have talent pools. If you have a particular talent, such as you are a graphic artist, or right now we have an attorney who's reviewing our bylaws pro bono, and we're very grateful for that, and that will keep us on the legal path for sure. The number of physical improvements downtown are 14 buildings and exterior improvements, and the number of DPA promotions and collaborations in 2025 to present are 6 DPA signature events and 11 collaborations and 4 presentations to civic groups. But I would be remiss if I didn't mention the impact of closing Gladish and what that has done, had on our downtown. So I'm going to share common requests that I hear. We don't have enough meeting space. We lost the view room, which was so important for organizations like Kiwanis, Rotary. So it's a large meeting. We have a need for a community center. Colfax has a place called the Center, and we don't have that in our downtown, but it's been a big asset to their community. So a large meeting space that could accommodate 50, maybe even 100, that can be sectioned off into smaller meeting spaces would be a great thing to have in our downtown. Weekly meeting rooms, even from 10 to 25 individuals. There's one in Neil Flowers, and ice cream, and that would be another option, but there still is more demand. Performance space for concerts, community band of the Palouse, Washington, Idaho Symphony, and dance recitals. I always hear, why can't we have a movie theater downtown? We would all love one. We used to have 2, but we're working on that, and we would love to have your ideas on that. And of course, affordable office space and affordable retail space on Main and Grand is definitely needed. If you can, and I wanted to include this quote from the guy who created small town Main Street and turned it into billions and billions of dollars of industry. If you can dream it, you can do it. So back to the Gladish Communities and Cultural Center. It really had a pretty grand entrance that was put on by the previous managers of the facility. And I just liked this quote from one of the previous employees, Nico Valentine. We were a community center. We were for everybody. We were able to allow people to get the services that they needed. Let's talk about vacancy rates with the loss of Gladish. So Gladish was a difficult thing to wrap my arms around when I first started in this position a year ago. That it was sort of always a bit of moving parts, and there was storage. Some of those units up there were storage. Some of them were businesses. I wasn't really sure how I counted the foot traffic, but I did figure out that if I included Gladish as one entity, there were in last July, there were 13 out of 81 businesses, or about a 16% vacancy rate, which isn't terrible. Interestingly enough, with the vacancies that have come up recently, and we'll talk about this, there are still 13 vacancies. However, I've reduced one business by Gladish out of 80 businesses, which leaves us at about a 16% vacancy rate. Now, these are all ground floor businesses. These are not businesses that are on the second or third floor that are attorney offices, for example. So what have we lost? We've lost Cure & Co., we've lost The Foundry, we've lost Thomas Hammer, O Ramen, Lumberyard, and Michelle's Closet are probably the big ones. So, but I want to put it into some context that people leave or in their businesses for different reasons. It could be for health. It could be because they want to spend more time with their kids. It could be because they got a degree in civil engineering and decided to become a civil engineer and didn't want to run a restaurant anymore. Those are all, their husband moved, they had to go with them. Those are all really legitimate reasons for businesses to close, I feel. But the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new, and that's where we are looking. So let's look at some of the new businesses that have come downtown that have kept us at approximately the 16% vacancy rate. The Iron Walk has become very successful. The Gabagold and Larissa's Apron, and all the other businesses with we have a yoga studio down there, and then of course the Modern Plantsman. So I really want to put a shout out to Garth and Christy Mader for just taking the bull by the horns and just putting these wonderful sparkling new businesses down there and all the remodeling that went with that. We have Flower Power Bakery that's part of the same with the Greystone. They have continued to build out these complexes of businesses, which include Flower Power Bakery, and JJ's Garage is another new one. Namaste has replaced the Foundry, and we're really sad to see the Foundry gone. Namaste is really pretty wonderful, and I suggest you all check it out. The Identity Salon has been repurchased by a new owner, and that's very exciting. And the Recovery Center has set up shop downtown. And there's also another yoga studio, Magnolia Yoga. So anyway, there are new businesses that are coming and starting up. We've also expanded our service area. So the 4-Star Supply, or the Grange, you can get gas there. It is the lumberyard, or not the lumberyard, it is the hardware store, the old-fashioned hardware store where you want to get nuts, bolts, that plumbing piece that you needed right now. It does have lumber, it has clothing, it has a wide range of things, and I recommend that you check them out. So they do fill a niche for on that Saturday morning when you have a project that you need to finish. Then at the other end of Grand, we have Simply Nails, 53 Boutique, and Thai Ginger. All of those buildings are over 50 years of age, and so they are considered historic buildings. Another thing that I want to cover is that we are the Downtown Pullman Association, and our logo, as you will see as we go through this, is the little navy blue logo that has a picture of the Pine Street Bridge on it. Not a picture, it has a logo of the Pine Street Bridge. And that, when you see that on different promotions, that is Downtown Pullman Association. There's another entity called Promote Pullman, and that is put on by an individual named Jandy Usman, and she does all kinds of events as well. The more the merrier downtown as far as I'm concerned. The more activity, the more foot traffic, the more we have people that have an experience down there and that will come back. But they are two separate entities, and we worked collaboratively to put together this event of a calendar event for people to look and see, and just people to get a little bit mixed up on who's doing what. If our logo's on it, that's our event, so thank you. We just, last weekend, we're handing out balloons for International Women's Day. The pink balloons have been out through the week, and they're probably about deflated by now, but it's always a wonderful thing to hand pink balloons to the women-owned businesses, as was mentioned by Tani. So some upcoming events. In April, we will have the 22nd is Earth Day, and the Bloom Crew and Discovery Science Center we're working together to create a downtown beautification project forming teams, possibly cleaning up the flower beds downtown and doing deadheading and things like that. We're working with the Parks and Rec Department on that. Actually, it's the 27th through the 30th is the Main Street Executive Director Training will be coming to the 3 Main Street communities. So it will start in Pullman, and we will welcome them on Monday night, and they will tour the downtown, and we'll take them, and then out to dinner and a little bit of socializing. Then on Saturday, they will go to our sister city over in Colfax, where they have the center and the facility set up for having training sessions. And then the following day, they will host a breakfast in La Crosse, which is kind of on their way back across the state. And these are really good training programs, excellent speakers, and we're excited to have them, and I hope that you will welcome them as we tour them through the downtown. Another thing that's coming up in May is the Art Walk. This is a picture from last year. However, we are accepting artists who would like to be part of that. We don't quite have the application up yet, but it will be on our website, and so be watching for that. And then we can't understate the importance of the Winter Market on Main and what that has done. It has opened its indoor in the old Bank of Pullman building, as you see here in the lower left corner. And it is just a place where people gather to take their coffee, buy a loaf of wonderful handcrafted bread, jellies, pottery, crafts, and to find a place where there's community. Marty, my friend on the lower right-hand side, said she came here because she really was craving a sense of community, and she said she's done very well at this market. We have everything from, number one, we have music. So there's usually 2 bands, which is quite wonderful. We have flowers. We have birdhouses, like I said, jellies and jams, and we have all kinds of baked goods and pottery and much more. This summer, Music on Main has been taken over at the request of the Chamber to run Music on Main, and we're very excited by that. At first, I was terrified by it, and then I started, with Tawny's help, started calling musicians, which led me to other musicians, and we are booked out for 12 concerts and on Thursday nights. So I promise you that we will be featuring dance bands. We want people up and moving and rocking with old as well as Latin and salsa and you name it. The Pine Street Plaza is so valuable for a range of things, but we see WSU class projects happening all the time. In fact, I will be meeting with some more students at the end of this week. So that's exciting that we're getting that connection made. And then there's the painting of the train cars to look forward to. If you haven't contributed to help them make that possible, it's not too late. These are pictures from last year, but we do have Lentil Fest Friday coming up, and there will be 3 bands. There will be a little bit of country, and there will be a little bit of this and that, and definitely all of them dance bands. So we will be kicking off the National Lentil Festival in conjunction with the Chamber, and we are looking forward to hosting at least 1,500 people, which is what we did last year, and that this boosted foot traffic and fostered community collaboration among 28 participating businesses. Then there's Trick or Treat. Trick or Treat is when downtown Pullman kind of blows up. We had 1,800 people visiting downtown Pullman, and that was from Pacer AI, from the Chamber. That did not count the people that did not have cell phones, which were most of those little kids. So that was the parents. And I love this picture in the upper right-hand corner with the little girl and Butch kind of shaking hands, because that was the weekend that there was a football game, and so we had First Down Friday that's at the same time, and the 2 of them were just kind of seamless and quite special. We had the donut lady, which this little girl was so darn cute. And then who wouldn't want to be giving candy to Captain Hook and Peter Pan standing in front of the pumpkin wall over there, thanks to the Pullman Civic Trust and the pumpkin wall. There were just really imaginative costumes, and even the businesses got into the act, thanks to Dominique from the Modern Plantsman showing off his new muscles. And I want to put a shout out to the Regional Theater of the Palouse. The Art Top is really quite a jewel in our downtown. And if you don't have season tickets, you should definitely think about getting them. They bring in professional actors from across the country. They also, actors and musicians, and they also use our best local talent. It is a night out on the town that you will remember. The next upcoming one is Into the Woods. It's won 3 Tony Awards and adapted into a 2014 Disney film. And I just encourage you to support the theater. That is our downtown theater right now, and it's great. So in closing, I want to do a call to action. I've said this before, you need to support local. When the tide comes in, all ships rise. Let the power of the center radiate and create the Pullman-centric regional success that we all want. Support Main Street. Every coffee, every bookstore visit, every event attended helps build the Pullman we all believe in, and your participation matters. Be part of the story. Pullman's next chapter is being written today. Be part of creating the future. The moment is now. Let's make Pullman the model for small-town revitalization. Thank you for your attention. I also want to extend a thank you to our supporters for the B&O tax credit program. We are definitely start rattling the bushes now, and please think about using your B&O tax credit dollars this way and bring the money back to Pullman. And you can go online and learn more about it by going to our website and clicking on the QR codes. This is how you can get a hold of us, and for supporting Downtown Pullman Association and our community for your vision and participation, we thank you, and please remember to heart and like. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. Very well done, Bobby. Thank you for all your energy, your excitement for the downtown, your enthusiasm. It was great, even at the chamber lunch today, to have a new business announce that they're coming into the downtown. So as you said, there's a lot of excitement that's happening around that. With that, any comments or questions from the council? Councilmember Weller.
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. Bobby, I've seen you in so many different roles since I've been on council. And you're stupendous in every single one of them. And, you know, you worked on the downtown even before you were the director, getting grants, organizing. It's really appreciate, as the mayor said, your energy, the success. Of course, I do have a few questions. So with the extension into the 4-star supply area, are the businesses in that kind of area across from 4-star, Blood Diamond Inc., Adam and Eve, are those also included in that downtown area? Or the downtown business?
Which one?
The Blood Diamond Inc. and then the Adam and Eve, they're across from the chamber?
Yeah, it goes along the street there.
So
The
they're
chamber is
included
across the
as well?
street.
Okay. So they're included as well. Now, what about Dom's Donuts? It's almost like a...
Oh, the depot is absolutely in the downtown.
So that one also.
Yep.
Okay, very cool. And the other thing I would ask is, have you ever thought, and I brought this, I don't know, a decade ago with the library director, Bailey, when she was here. The parking lot across from the Cougar Plaza, where there's that large retaining wall. If a mural, have you thought about something? I had once thought green graffiti, moss type, but I know that's not hip or whatever, cool anymore. Have you ever thought about if we could do a mural there or something?
I think that's I think it's a project for the Arts Commission.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It is city property.
It's city-owned.
Yeah,
And so it's a
all
little bit
right.
more tough. However,
That's going to be tough.
However, up above that is a mural that was done by Nancy Regal's elementary school children, and we would like to restore that.
Yeah, cool. All right, awesome. Thank
So
you.
I would be interested in talking to any muralist that wants to bring that back as part of our history.
Awesome.
Councilmember Parks?
Thank you, Bobby. As I said when I walked in today, I mean, I read the whole report over the weekend, and it's just really wonderful. I'm really congratulate you for your vision and your ability to get the DPA on track and moving, and now it's just growing and growing with wonderful people like Gigi and the other board members who've worked so hard. And so I just
have.
wanted to say,
Yes.
I think this is probably, as I was watching you and listening to you, I thought, this is the best fit for Bobby right here. I mean, and you've proved it. You've proven it because you know, like I said, you've just organized and gotten things, all together with, and the board too. But I'm just really grateful that you are the executive director. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ann.
Councilmember Shumas?
I guess I'm just reiterating what everybody said, but for anybody who's been downtown and has watched the DPA try and get off the ground and have its stumbles, we were very lucky that you took up the mantle of this position, and you've done a wonderful job, and Gigi's done a wonderful job, and I am so excited to work with you ladies. I just think you're super dynamic, and I'm grateful that Pullman has you.
And we are so excited that you will be our new president, I hope. And we have to vote you in, however. And I do want to say, I didn't do this alone. The people that came before me did a tremendous amount of groundbreaking to make it possible for us to even be at this level. And so we just need to keep it going.
Great, thank you, Bobby, and I look forward to that ball drop on New Year's Eve. So-
Yeah.
So, we'll
That's
get
going to be an
there.
interesting one. If anybody's interested in B&O tax credit stuff, I have handouts.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. The items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by single motion of City Council without separate discussion. I'd entertain a motion to read the consent agenda by title only.
So moved.
Any discussion? Actually, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? With that, Sean Wells, if you can read the consent agenda, please.
You bet. Item number 1, a motion to dispense with the readings of the January 27, 2006 meeting minutes and approve them as submitted. Item 2, a motion to dispense with the reading of the February 10, 2026 meeting minutes and approve them as submitted. Item 3, a motion to approve disbursements for electronic transfers numbered 658 through 666, totaling $1,151,523.35. Item 4, a motion to approve disbursements for accounts payable checks numbered 2011-33662 through 2011-33797, totaling $736,210.67. Item 5, ordinance number 2605, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pullman, Whitman County, Washington, granting a franchise renewal by authorizing the execution of a franchise agreement between the City of Pullman and Avista Corporation, doing business as Avista Utilities, and other matters properly related thereto. Item 6, resolution number R-07-26, a resolution accepting the bid of Motley Inc. for the Arterial Streets Resurfacing 2026 project and authorizing execution and delivery of the contract for said project. Item 7, resolution number R-08-26, a resolution accepting the bid of Motley Inc. for the Bishop Boulevard Resurfacing Grand to Fairmont project and authorizing the execution and delivery of the contract for said project. Item 8, a motion to authorize a lodging tax grant to Pullman Chamber of Commerce for an amount up to $5,000 for Holiday Fest 2025. Item 9, a motion authorizing a lodging tax grant to Pullman Market on Main for an amount up to $35,000 for Pullman Market on Main.
Do any council members desire to have any item removed from the consent agenda to be discussed separately? Seeing none, at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Second. With that, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Paul, go forth and do good. With that, we're up to our regular agenda. The first one up with ordinance number 2604, and with that, R.J. Lott, our Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. This is a proposed ordinance before you this evening, ordinance 26-04 for the maintenance of vacant commercial spaces in the C2 Business District. We spoke about 2 weeks ago, well, exactly 2 weeks ago, about this during a work session. So this is the ordinance that we had went over at that time, and I just want to hit some highlights and one change in the ordinance. So this is an ordinance that would have vacant spaces register after 6 months in the C2 Business District, and this would be for ground floor only spaces. Staff did do a count this afternoon on vacant spaces and came up with about 15, so that matches what Bobby Ryder just provided you folks. One change that I did want to mention is section 5.60.060, which is the window displays for commercial buildings not occupied for 30 days. 2 weeks ago, we talked about the objectivity behind what looks good. So I have rewritten this to read that after 30 days, a responsible person must cover the entire window with single color paint or paper. So that takes out the objectivity with that element. Are there any questions that I can answer at this time? I'd be more than happy to do so.
With that, so first of all, questions, any questions you have of RJ related to the ordinance? Councilmember Parks.
Thank you. I had a question about, and I can't find it right now, but it was about the responsible person or persons that could include the owner and the tenant. Is that as far as that they would both have the authority to do the things such as covering windows, or could tenants actually be held accountable for a dilapidated building? Like, I wasn't sure what the tenant's role was in it.
Well, hopefully if there's a tenant, the space would be
It's
occupied.
not vacant, yeah.
So the tenant a responsible person according to this code is defined as any person, firm, association, corporation, or any agent thereof owning, leasing, renting, or having lawful possession of a structure.
Okay,
So it could be any of those.
okay,
So for instance, if there's an owner that lives out of town and they have an agent in town,
right,
the in-town agent could be a responsible person in this case.
right. Okay, all right, thank you.
Councilmember Schumas?
I'm just clarifying for myself. Somebody can answer this. At this point in time, we're just asking questions to you. So if I have a later comment or thought about the fee schedule, it's not a question, I wait.
Correct.
Just making sure I got it.
This is, and that's a separate, that's later on. Okay, if there's no other questions of RJ, at this time, I'd entertain a motion.
Move to adopt.
There's a second, and with that, then discussion among council. So, Councilmember Fajarin.
Thank you. No discussion. I just want to thank RJ and staff for their patience and perseverance with bringing this back to work on a couple times. So just thank you for that hard work.
Ditto.
And Councilmember Schumas?
All right, wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate the work that you did and staff. Thank you, Eric, for making the motion to bring this back. I guess I just wanted for discussion real quick to make sure that we were happy with the fee schedule as is.
So the fee schedule is not.
Oh, that's the next part.
That's the next
Yes.
part.
Okay,
So.
this was just that. Okay, sorry, thank you. Got it.
You're fine. These things sequence, and unfortunately. Any other discussion? Councilmember Weller?
I just wanted to, well, I mean, it's already been said, thank you. This is a huge deal for Pullman. I mean, this is stuff that we've heard about prior to even me being on, and when Francis was on council prior to me. I mean, this is a really, really big deal. So great job, RJ, and those that, really did push it forward. So that's great. Good job, RJ. Thank you.
Councilmember McDonald?
Yeah, I also want to reiterate the thanks for bringing this forward. I would also like to, I mentioned this last time, I bet the Downtown Association and the Chamber would be eager to help with, right? I mean, if somebody doesn't want to sell their, or fill their building, that's one thing. If they are, obviously, I want to see this coming from both angles, right? Like, how can we help you make this happen? And then also, this is kind of the, like, you got to make this happen.
Councilmember Parks?
I echo everything that's already been said. I also want to just make the comment that both as staff, city staff, and as council, I think we're all making a statement that we care about what our business district looks like, and we are interested in making it appealing so people want to have their businesses down there, and that patrons want to spend their money in Pullman or just spend time downtown. So I thank everyone for the commitment that I think we've all sent a good message to our community.
Councilmember Vance?
I just wanted to take a moment to echo my fellow council members and thank you for your time in putting this together.
With that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. And then next on to the next item. RJ?
Thank you, Mayor. As preferenced, or as we just talked about, the fee schedule for the vacant commercial spaces. 2 weeks ago, I spoke about the fee schedule that Medical Lake has in place. And as a placeholder, I put that in for this evening. Medical Lake and this fee schedule has the first year registration at $250, the second year $500, third year $750, and the fourth and each subsequent year at $1,000. Are there any questions of council?
Let me pause for a moment. We need to go back prior to the vote. Sean, if you could read the ordinance that we just voted on. It needs to be read into the record. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't catch that until after you said aye. And I went, oh, I didn't read that. So what was just passed was ordinance number 26-04, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Pullman, Whitman County, Washington, relating to the health and sanitation, amending Pullman City Code Title 5, creating Section 5.60 titled Maintenance of Vacant Commercial Spaces in the C2 Central Business District and other matters properly related thereto.
And just to be official, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? It passes. Thank you. We just want to make sure that technicality isn't something that's tripping us up. So back to that. So, RJ?
All right, new news. The fee schedule for vacant commercial spaces. 2 weeks ago, I presented a proposed fee schedule, and it mirrored Medical Lake. First year registration, $250, second year, $500, third year, $750, and then the fourth year and each subsequent year after that would be $1,000. Any questions of council?
So any questions of RJ with this? Councilmember Fajarin?
Thank you. And I apologize, this is more, you might not know the answer, but I just want to ask it out loud. I know that a property owner does all these deductions and depreciation, property taxes. As a business owner, are you able to use the 1,000 as the fee as a write-off, or are they able to write it off?
I would have no idea on that. It would be purely speculation on my part. I would think that a fee would not be a write-off, But that's my speculation on that.
I'll wait for conversation if anybody knows if
Any,
it is or not.
any other questions of RJ? Councilmember Shumis?
I'll just ask one before my comment later. How do you feel comfortable, after having worked with Medical Lake and stuff, with this fee schedule? I guess that's just like,
That's a little bit of a loaded question. I think to start, yes.
okay, that's, yeah.
And then there's always the opportunity to come back and revisit what we've got. Is it too high? Is it too low? Is it just right? So I think there's always that opportunity. But to begin, I think this is a really good start.
Thank you.
Any other questions of RJ? If not, then I'd entertain a motion.
Move to adopt the fee schedule for maintenance of vacant commercial spaces. Resolution R0926.
Is there a second?
Getting used to this format.
And so this is Resolution R 0926, resolution adopting a fee schedule for the maintenance of vacant commercial spaces and review effective March 10th, 2026. Is that, now with that, discussion among council, any discussion related to the fee schedule before us? Councilmember Shumis?
Okay. I guess I just wanted to ask everybody if they were comfortable with this fee schedule, or if anybody was interested in not having it stop at 1,000, having it continue to go up by $250 a year, or stopping here and coming back next year to talk about it, I guess.
Yeah. You know, and the 1,000 happens at year 4, too.
Right, yeah.
With that, Councilmember Weller?
Two things. I mean, I was in favor of something that was higher, but I think given what RJ has discussed and the track record that's already there, I mean, we can always revisit it in the future. And on the second thing, I know just with my small rental business, certain fees can be written off, but I don't think with the maintenance it can be. So, yeah.
Other discussion? Councilmember McDonald?
So I would support it continuing. I'm okay with it as is, but I'd also support having that 250 continue to increase. I mean, honestly, it's like 4,000 between the 15 buildings. That's like $4,000 for the city. That's not even, like, we'd rather those places are filled than get 4,000 or 8,000 or even, you know, whatever, 40,000, right? But I would support continuing to let it accumulate, and ideally, right, you just fill the space instead.
Councilmember Parks?
I'm kind of in agreement with what RJ suggested, is let's just get it out there and get the businesses, the buildings registered and start the process. And I think in a year, because then we'll have metrics as to how effective it perhaps has already been. And then we can maybe talk about like changing the fee schedule. I agree with Councilmember McDonald that might not be a bad thing, but I think I'd like to just see it, how it all works first.
Councilmember Vance?
I just also wanted to state my support for the fee schedule having maybe not a cap, or at least the cap being put to the same level at the property tax level that the property owner has. That's my thoughts on it.
Councilmember Fajarin?
Thank you. Also, I agree with everything that's been said right now. Given what little, and I'll say little, I know about taxes, depreciation, and write-offs, I feel like you know, this fee schedule is extremely reasonable and may not even go as, is not reasonable and needs to go a little further, considering how some businesses do write-offs and appreciation to decrease their tax burden. Sometimes the properties appreciate in value and being depreciated at the same time, or being written off as depreciation. So I would support not having a cap and just have the 250 increase each subsequent year.
So I'm hearing a mix right now of cap or no cap. But what I am hearing from the council is the current, the majority are saying that the current schedule of the 250, 500, 750, they like that.
Yeah.
I would say why don't we do this, because that cap doesn't come into play until in 4 years, and I imagine we're going to be back to review this prior to that point in time. So any other discussion on this? Councilmember Vance?
Yeah, I think when it comes to like us coming back to visiting it again, it was something that we talked about was sort of a report that we look at in February. So I think that might be an appropriate time for that to be maybe revisited or this to be amended at some point.
Okay. Sean, do you have enough information? Is it clear, the discussion so far for you?
Discussion is clear. There's still a motion and a second
There's
that
still
needs
a
to be
motion.
voted on.
Yeah, there's still a motion and second. So with that, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, our next item for 3, Sean Wells, you have up for Resolution R1026.
I get to come to the big stage here. Before you, good evening. Before you is Resolution R1026. This is the resolution that would rescind a couple resolutions that have enacted the current council rules of procedure, and it would adopt a modified or amended, brand new rules of procedure. First, to start off, I'm going to have the city clerk pass off a revised first page of the appendix, or Exhibit A. There was a clarification that was found after publishing, and in the preface, you'll see that the last 2 sentences were primarily procedural, and in that preface paragraph, and were actually covered in the very last item of the entire rules of procedure, in that the council would have the ability to modify the rules as necessary at any time with a majority plus 1. And so that was the intent that was covered in the back of the document, and it was inadvertently added in the preface, and there was a discrepancy between the two. So staff's recommendation would be to adopt a modified version as presented tonight, with that 2 sentences stricken. Just to cover kind of the modifications that we've done to date and kind of the highlights of the entire thing, as we've discussed in a couple different modes, we added on page 2, section 2B, 1B, talking about the study session format and adding that topic about what a study session is. So we were all in agreement with that. The page 4 of the document, section 2, C2, and this was the section about adding, if you're not able to come, then how do you attend virtually? So we added a section in there and discussed about what that looked like. So there was the guidelines about remote attendance that was desired as well, and we've been doing that. We just wanted to clarify what that looked like here. On page 6 of the document, we combined in the regular meetings the public comment period, so there's now just 1 public comment period rather than 2 like we've been doing. We also added section D.2, which was the order of business for the regular study sessions, and so we added in there a section for community comments as what was kind of the consensus of the council there. We also added a section in there that was council member committee reports, and so this was a time during the study sessions when the council would be asked to maybe do a quick committee report on the committees that you've been assigned to, like LTAC or such, and just maybe a quick update on what's happened in the last time so that the council's aware of what all the committees are doing. And then further on in the document, page 8 in the section on adjournment, this is to keep us from going, hours and hours and hours. Thank you, Mr. Weller. So this is once the time has reached 3 hours beyond the meeting's scheduled start time, or there's no further business to come before the council, then we would adjourn the meeting. The last one that was of note was on page 11, and this was challenges to the ruling, just basically clarifying that any challenges would follow the Roberts Rules of Order for Procedure. With that, everything else was as we've previously discussed, and with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
So any questions of Sean? Councilmember McDonald?
So when we discussed this in January, I thought there was a pretty, maybe my memory is wrong, but I thought there was pretty broad support for removing some of the specifics on the cell phone ban and use it more as a educate versus legislate kind of angle, but it seems still pretty strong in there. It's in J2, I think.
Yeah, when I went back and looked at the discussion and watched the video on that, there was what I thought was a discussion about it, but not necessarily a consensus to remove it. We wanted to be able to give the council some guidance in that. We did remove a section, I think it was about an ombudsman or something like that. There was some language in there that we cleaned up, but this was the ability then for you as council to use cell phone as necessary in somewhat of the emergency situations, but that any of the content that would be communicated to you during a council meeting is still considered public record, and this was primarily clarifying that concept, but that there might be exceptions to that for situations where there might be a family emergency or something like that.
So I would say when we get into the discussion, then if you want to make a motion related to that, that can be made. Councilmember Weller, any questions of Sean?
Yeah, thank you. And actually, I did take my notes on my cell phone, so that's why I have it out. So for me, I know I was a strong opponent to this, and maybe, perhaps, it's due to my strong aversion to organizations or individuals having control over the behavior of another person, especially if it's not illegal or, impacting somebody else. So I would like to kind of understand a little bit better, and perhaps I'm in the wrong, so I'd like to understand, and please enlighten me, where the origin, because I know when we were originally talking about policy, this was not in this whatsoever. And it was added later, and I believe, and this is where I'd like to ask you, was this, can you explain why this was added? Because it wasn't discussed by the council.
Sure. I was just trying to find the section in there that was under. And
so J, Council Communications, Part 2.
Page 8.
Page 8, thank you. I was flipping through it as we were talking here and trying to listen, and I can't do two things at once. There it is, thank you. Yeah, so this came from discussions about having interruptions during meetings, and primarily when it relates to quasi-judicial information. When you're in that forum, that's when the record needs to be very clear that there's not outside influence in your decision-making processes. This was taken from another municipal body, and I don't remember which one at the time, in that sense, so that it would be able to protect you as council members to know what kind of the rules are when you're engaging with, say, cell phone use or texting, or reading personal email or such during the council meetings, particularly the legislative or the quasi-judicial timings. It was added in there as kind of a guidance for the council to follow so that you could essentially regulate yourselves during the meeting. These are your rules to hold each other accountable to, particularly for that. I'll look at our city attorney who's online to see if he wanted to add any other discussion around this. We can't hear you. Hang on, Thad. We can't hear you. I'll get our AV guy on that. Not yet. Not yet.
Anything?
There you go.
Now we have you.
Thank you, Thad.
Sorry about that. I think that was on my end. So I think I would just emphasize Sean's at least 2 points. One, about the quasi-judicial and making sure it doesn't look like a council member is taking any type of input because that record is closed during a quasi-judicial meeting. And then the other thing is just, I guess, keeping in mind that if you're using your personal cell phone during council meetings, there's a chance that it could be subject to at least a search for the Open Public Meetings Act and or the Public Records Act. So, you know, I don't think anybody's trying to dictate what y'all can and can't do. I think it's more of a best practices. And this, I haven't seen it on this council, but I have seen other boards where the people are just not engaged because of the cell phone. And so I think that's part of it. Of course, it's up to you all to decide whether or not you want that as part of the rules of procedure.
It was also best practice advised during our AWC council training sessions as well, where the AWC attorneys were strongly recommending that every council had this kind of a clause in the rules and procedures.
Any other questions of Sean? Seeing none, I would then entertain a motion for, and the motion would be for adoption of the amended resolution as presented.
Now, if we want to.
And then we can make amendments once we're into it. We have to at least put this on the table.
All right, move to adopt. Sorry, can't see it. There we go.
Second.
And this is as amended, and so Sean, if you can read that, the resolution as amended.
You bet. Flipping over to this chair. Resolution number R-10-26, a resolution rescinding resolutions R-12-13, R-22-21, and R-7-24 in their entirety, and establishing rules of procedures relating to meetings and public hearings of the City of Pullman, of the Pullman City Council, as amended with page 1.
With page 1. And so with that, then, now we're into discussion, where any discussion or any amendments to this can be made. That, Councilmember McDonald?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of searching, and it looks like you probably got some of the language from Spokane and some of the more stronger language from SELA, but it definitely isn't common in Washington, at least not yet. One of the feedbacks I got during my whole campaign was we're a little bit too good. The perception is that maybe sometimes we're a little bit too good at legislating something because of a potential worst-case scenario or something like that. Obviously, I don't think the most important thing ever, one way or another, is phones, but it does seem like an example of a place where we could give guidance rather than legislate for the worst-case scenario and restrict ourselves more than we need to. I think it's more than guidance. I mean, expressly prohibited is the term used in the guidance, and I would like to see us remove all of the stuff that is that blunt, like keep the high level first step, but that's my feedback.
Yeah, and that's not a motion yet, that's just discussion right now. Councilmember Waller? Sorry, what, Councilmember Waller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, I would have to agree with Councilmember McDonald here, because in my opinion, we were all elected as adults. I think we understand, proper use of cell phones, and it seems like it's a solution for a problem we don't necessarily have. And I've, serving with past members who have used their cell phones quite a bit, they were still present and kept up with the meetings. And to my memory, there have only really been, and I was trying to take note, 3 times in the 18 years that I've been on, any suspicion of discussing city topics on personal phones. And those were requested by citizens. There was nothing, it wasn't even occurring here. There was suspicion of social media. And it passed the test. All of us gave our personal information and messages up. But that's 3 times in 18 years. I think that it is something where, as adults, we can understand what we should do. We all sit in committees and meetings. People are on their phone, whether that's being able to communicate with family members or emergencies or getting information, checking documents. Oftentimes, previously, when I was first on, you would hear something, you weren't able to check it, and then later it was found out, oh wait, that wasn't necessarily true. And so now we have the ability to right away get that information. Now, I will admit there are, community members who also feel that they have questions and they've sent me questions, and then they appreciated the clarity. It wasn't on quasi-judicial matters, and those would be asked of the department heads. So I just don't see that it's necessary to do this. I think that education, as has been said, is much more important than legislation with this. So.
Okay. Councilmember Vance?
Yeah, I don't have much more to add. I just wanted to throw my support behind that point as well, with the removal of that section.
So is there a motion someone would like to make concerning this section?
So I'm happy to make a motion to remove section 2J2. I'd be open to either removing the whole thing or at least B and C for sure.
I need a specific motion.
All right, remove J2.
Second.
So, and then is there a second?
Second.
Second, okay. So the motion has to do with Section J, Council Communications, to remove the subsection J2, use of electronic devices during council meetings. So that's the one that we're discussing. With that, any?
Point of question on that, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
This is Section 3, subsection J.2.
Section 3, subsection J2.
Correct.
Thank you.
In its entirety.
In its entirety
Okay.
is what's before. So the Section 3, conduct of city
subsection
council meetings.
J.2.
Thank you. I hadn't gotten that far up on my thing. With that, any discussion? Councilmember Fajarin?
Thank you for the discussion already. I feel like this is pretty
plate, and I actually support this being in the rules of procedure. I feel like if we can ask students in high school to remain off their phones, we should be off our phones in addition to, and so I'll be voting no on the amendment.
Any other discussion? Councilmember Parks?
I've been going back and forth on this, but somebody, I think Sean brought up a good point about the training, and I think that if this information is presented as part of a council member's onboarding, I think that would be sufficient. Do we get like a handbook or something, but just.
We do.
Right, and so if maybe that's in there and it's more educational than this. I mean, to me, this pretty much delineates everything that was discussed. It talks about that you can use it in a meeting for this, looking up information and things like that. You cannot use it for personal communication. It seems like Eric said, pretty clear to me, but I don't feel like it's excessively punitive, but I do take the point that it does come across that way. So my suggestion would be to, if it's removed out of here, include it in onboarding for new council members in the materials.
Okay. Other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, of the amendment this before us right now, we still have to go back to the main motion. All those in favor of the amendment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, so the amendment passes, and we're back to remove that section, and we're back to the main motion. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Okay. Next item up is discussion item, and the first one is Councilmember Shumlis has, and I don't know if you want to communicate more related to the opportunities before you right now related to the Downtown Association.
Yeah, I was offered the chance to be up for a vote as the president of the Downtown Pullman Association, which I leapt at that chance to get to work with Bobby and Gigi. So it does, unfortunately, that's a one-year role, and it does mean that I would have to give up the spot that I just stole from Matt on the Downtown Pullman committee as the council chair.
Yeah.
So,
and it's just so that if she represents the city, but then is also president, there could be positions where she's in a conflict of one going one way versus another, and this helps her to be able to work fully as the president if that's what she gets selected for. But it also means there's another council member has an opportunity to be on that position. So with that, that opens up. So are there any council members that are interested in increasing the number of committees that they're on to also include the Downtown Pullman Association?
I'd be glad to do it if nobody else.
So we have Councilmember Tom. Any others? Everybody's sitting on their hands. So with that,
I have a quick question. Is it just one council member, or
it'd just be one that's on.
do it, Brian?
can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes.
At the end of my one-year term, do we do the
Every
chair-
year,
Yeah,
every
okay,
year.
perfect. That's what I
Yeah.
want to know. Thank you.
Yeah, then you'll have to arm wrestle.
I got it.
and Ann gets out of the way. Okay. And this isn't something that we voted, it was more of a by consensus for this. So by consensus, what I'm hearing is for Councilman McDonald would be the representative to the Downtown Pullman Association from the City Council. The next item for discussion, ASWSU, we have a joint meeting that's coming up March 25th. This is a Wednesday. In preparation for that, are there any meeting topics that you would like for, whether for staff to prepare or topics that we can present to them, for them to prepare related to the meeting. So this is just an opportunity. Are there any particular things that you would like to make sure these topics, any items that are a topic as a part of that agenda? Councilmember Weller?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I can't speak for Pat, but I know, Councilmember Wright, but I know scooters have been something that have been somewhat challenging, and considering that age group uses it, I don't know how to frame it quite right.
So is your question more, we have a scooter ordinance, is it working properly, or is it a safety issue, or?
I would say safety, is one thing.
Okay.
The ordinance, I'm not sure that they would even really
So
understand as
more
far as
for
ordinances.
how do they feel that the safety for the scooter ordinance is working for them?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
that would be
and this is really, and they may or may not have any responses with that. Councilmember Schumas, did you have?
I did. I don't really know what the scope, I've never been for one of these meetings before, so I don't really know what the scope and nature of it is. So maybe I'm way outside of the box, but they had brought some ideas last year about like doing this in the park or that in the park. And so I guess I'd like to go back to them and discuss something that they had done years ago, which is the restaurant week, and bringing that back.
Okay, so talk about the restaurant week. Councilmember McDonald? Oh,
I was just going to echo
okay.
Nathan's. I think what I'd love to hear is both do they feel like the sidewalk thing is a safety issue, but also a convenience issue, right? I want to hear what side of that they're on, not just, do you want that to be because last time we were really talking about, should we just remove the language altogether? So I'd want that to hear from them. Yeah, we love that we can ride it on the sidewalk, or no, man, we get ran over all the time. So,
okay, Councilmember Parks?
I just have a question. Do we have any kind of a draft agenda from them yet?
No.
Because it differs. I mean, like, what they did in the fall is not what they had done the last spring. You know what I mean? So,
Correct. So
Okay.
it was our agenda, so they had requested topics to be on our agenda.
Right.
This is their agenda, so we're requesting topics to be
Okay.
on their agenda. So they'll have their normal list that,
yeah.
what I'm expecting they're gonna include in similar to the topics that they requested. I expect those will come again.
I really liked the table visits they did after all of the presentations and stuff. You were there last year? Yeah. So the senators would come to each table and talk to council members and things. I did enjoy that. It's like who was there at the end of the meeting? So,
You're talking the one that was done up at the Cub? Where we had the dinner? And that was GPSA, as opposed to ASWSU.
I'm sorry, you're
So
right. Well, maybe ASW, no, I'm kidding.
And I think ASWSU is modeling what they're doing off similar, so we could see. Councilmember Fajarin?
Apologies, this came to my head, but since we have a working housing group, I'd be interested in if ASWSU is hearing anything from their members on, not, of course, dormitory stuff, but Pullman housing supply. When folks graduate, they want Pullman to be their home? Are they able to find a reasonable place in order to make that happen? That sort of thing.
Councilmember Schumas?
You just made me think of something else that's kind of a big thing for college students, and then here locally is the transit services. I guess if they had any thoughts or feedbacks on the transit
So
services.
feedback on transit?
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Okay. Councilmember Vance?
One that I've heard from different student organizations is parks up in the College Hill area, and sort of the apartment land area as well. There isn't a lot of green spaces, so maybe feedback on that regard as well.
kind of along those lines, how do they view the difference between green space, whether it's owned by the city or owned by the university or public schools, just kind of like green spaces in general and, yeah.
You know, and understand the students live throughout our whole town. So there's a high percentage that are on College Hill, but we're going to get responses from both those that live on College Hill and throughout the town as we go through this. Any other items? I think this is it's a good list, and so we'll go ahead and get that communicated to them as they put together their agenda. The next item up is you'll see that we received a request from the school district where they would like to do a possible joint school board meeting on April 1st. And this is something that has actually been in discussion for the last year and a half. Part of it was we were waiting until we got through the aquatic center because otherwise that would have been the whole focus of the meeting. So we're trying to get through that before something like this was proposed. So this is the date that they've proposed. And so really, you know, as a part of this discussion, is this something that you would like to do as a council, to have a joint meeting with them? If so, is this a good date? And then if that's the case, then so let's start there. Is this something that as a council you would like to have this type of a joint meeting with the school district? Councilmember Schumas?
I would just like to say that I think this meeting would be an excellent idea, and I don't know about the date because I don't have my personal calendar here. I'll get back to you on that.
Okay. I'm hearing a lot of head nod. I mean, everybody doesn't have to go to the mic. I'm seeing a lot of head nods with this. So this date is a Wednesday. This is a Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday, April 1st is where that falls.
I believe their meetings start at 7, but we will verify that.
And if you see in your agenda packet, they had tentative agenda items that were there. And so then the last piece that I had. So it sounds like, yes, they'd like to do it. Let's go ahead and plan on this date. And then the last piece is, these items look like a good start for our agenda discussion? Or is there anything else that you would like to see as a part of initial agenda discussion? Councilmember Weller?
Yeah, I think it's a good starting. I think until we build a relationship, communication pipeline, we won't really know what's the most important, so.
Councilmember Parks?
I agree with that. So maybe not this meeting, but I think the most feedback that we as council get that is actually the school district's purview is busing and transportation of students. And they're always saying, like we'll get the emails and say, or we'll get comments that you'll see on social media. I'm like, yeah, the city needs to, and I know it can be confusing because we do assist a little bit, but maybe clarifying those roles. And again, it might not happen at this meeting, but I think it'll be good for the public to see that we're two separate entities and what our each purview is of each board.
And the transit is one that, we were trying to do kind of this initial one. Mm-hmm. The transit is the next one, along with the use of green spaces that
and so as I said, it might be down the
Sean,
road.
do you have a recommendation related to
No.
the transit?
That's fine. You can leave, and I didn't know that. So you could, like I said, I said it may be a future meeting, but I do think that's what I at least see the most comment about relating to council.
Yeah. If it's a topic, we can suggest it to them if that's something that you would. Okay, great.
Might be a good one to, I would maybe recommend that as a second meeting topic.
It'd be.
Back to the meeting times, we've got discrepancy just immediately. Their normal school board meetings are at 6:30, but their website also lists a 4:30 working session. So I will clarify that with the school district on the time.
Yes, please clarify that. 4:30 would be difficult for me, but I can make a 5. I just have another board meeting that's just before it. Airport board is is that day, starting at 3. Any other top questions or any feedback related to topics? Councilmember Fajarin?
Little selfish plug because I am the higher ed industry. The shared strategic plans of the school district and city, I would particularly be interested in the future of their dual credit enrollment programs. And so for those folks who don't know that, it's this, a student can take a class, one class, and get credit in 2 places, whether that's WSU, Spokane College, Eastern College in the classroom is really booming right now. And I'd be very interested in their regional relationships with the local colleges in that strategic plan.
Okay. I'm seeing everything else looks good. Okay, so Sean, I'll let you communicate.
Yeah, I will get back to the school board president and then let the council know what things are happening.
Okay. The last item, and this is more just as a briefing as it relates to, we've been wanting to continue to improve our strategic influence. I will next week, along with Frank Bouquet, will be in D.C., and we'll actually I'll be running multiple hats, one on the airport side, one as the city side. From the city side, we're working on an ask that's related to the freight mobility bypass, so which is the San Kirkendall Road, in order to work on funding in order to keeping that moving forward. And that's something that is there'll be a joint group that is Whitman County, the Port, City of Moscow, and the City of Pullman that we're jointly will be having some meetings. So we're related to that, and then I'll also on the airport side, along with the mayor of Moscow, doing some related to airport funding, but then also related to water alternatives. So we'll continue to be working and communicating where things are at related to those that are familiar with the PBAC and the work that they're doing. We're working to move that forward, along with economic development pieces. And this is really within the strategy in order to increase our grant funding opportunities and reduce our dependence upon fees and taxes. So it's trying to, if you think about the pie that I showed during the State of the City and what percentages, can we increase that grant funding side in order to not have to rely as much upon our citizens and our community members related to it. Any questions related to that? So that's, and this is something that I'm back twice a year with the airport related to these things. If not, that finishes our discussion, and we have no executive session before us. So I would entertain, we're trying to do it under 2 hours. And so with that, I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
Mayor, you missed the new business section.
Oh, is new business?
Is there any new business?
I'd entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned.